This is Joy News Desk with me, Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up this hour. Office of the Special Prosecutor Defense Strategic Mobilization Limited as raid amid lawsuit threat and assault allegations by the company.
There is no metering system that we even disconnected. So SML makes some accusations which doesn't even sit well. First of all, I heard them say that we should have given them notice before coming there. And I was asking myself, when police is coming to say look for an armed robber, will he give the person a notice?
Also coming up, Deputy Attorney General Justice Shremsai reveals former government officials are volunteering information about their former colleagues to the oral team. We have details of that coming up. And also on our decks, West African Examinations Council tightened security after arrest for exam malpractices, vowing tough sanctions, including teacher dismissals.
And the Director General has indicated that any teacher who is found culpable could even lose their job.
We also have business updates on our decks. Do stay for details. We'll be right back. Story, the Office of the Special Prosecutor insists it broke no law in its search of the Osu and Tema Offices of Strategic Mobilization Limited, SML, on Tuesday. This is after SML said it will sue the OSP, insisting no such warrant was shown at either location during the operation. SML has described the search as unwarranted and warned it could severely disrupt its revenue assurance operations, potentially costing the company more than 300 million cedis each month. Yasewa Sapong is Director of Support Services at SML. She spoke on Newsnight last night.
We want to place on record that we didn't see any warrant or be served to our staff. We don't have a copy of any warrant. We don't know the content of the warrant. We don't have any.
Are you seeking redress formally through your lawyers?
We don't know what they are looking for, but by all indication, that was a distractive operation to impact our operation, to stop us from operating. We are going to court. That is the only way for OSP to explain to us what is in his warrant. What is he looking for that we couldn't give to him when if he has used the right procedure to do that, rather than to pounce on us as if we are criminals?
I'm grateful. That there is a Director of Support Services.
Well, the company is also accusing the operatives of the OSP of assaulting some of its staff.
The server room is a security zone. It's locked. A field officer don't have access to a server room. They don't have password to the server room. So they broke the server room, the door to the server room, which is a security door, and then asked them, give us the password. You are hiding the password away from us. Give us the password. Others, when they saw military men, they were traumatized. They were trying to, their personal computers that they have brought to work, they were trying to put it in their desks, and they went through the CCTV camera, and then they slapped them. Those who they are requesting password from them, they are using the guns to slap them. When they still didn't have, because they don't have the password, this is what they did. They handcuffed them, make them to sit under the sun on the pavement, on the compound.
While reacting to these allegations on the AM show, Director of Strategy Research and Communication at the OSP insisted their search was backed by law.
OSP went to SML premises with a search warrant.
Yes.
Now, we went to SML premises for specific things. Now, when a search is being conducted and we need to take some documents back to the offices, those documents we will take back because that is why we were there. Now, in taking back things to the office, things have to be disconnected. So if you see wiring and all that, it means that those things were disconnected. Now, when we do a search and we are doing these things, there's something we call seizure notices. where SML signed on everything that we took from their premises. In fact, SML IT staff were the ones who disconnected these things. Because why we are there is to be able to take particular things that we are investigating. So that is what we did. It does not mean that when you see wiring lying around, of course, the wirings were connected to certain things. And because we have taken those things away, you will not see those things there. It does not mean that we have destroyed things there. Also, there have been news of some directors pick up and all that. Some of these directors that were picked up are not even people we are investigating. Some of them were picked up purely for what we call obstruction of justice. So when the law enforcement comes to your premises with a warrant from a court and you try not to allow them to do their work, you'll be causing an offense called obstruction of justice. So some of them were picked up purely for obstruction of justice. There is no metering system that we even disconnected. So SML makes some accusations which doesn't even sit well. First of all, I heard them say that we should have given them notice before coming there. And I was asking myself, when police is coming to, say, look for an armed robber, will he give the person a notice?
Yeah.
It's not done. That's why we call it searches. That's why for such searches, warrant is obtained ex parte, because you are not supposed to know that we are coming to your facility. It's based on intelligence. That's why we come to your facility. Secondly, if SML says they've been very cooperative, that is also inaccurate. Because if they've been very cooperative, then the law enforcement will not need to come physically to your offices to get exactly the documentation that they need. So if you see a law enforcement agency go to your premises, it means that there are things there that they don't have access to, that they need access to. That may be why a law enforcement agency goes to such a premise. So this whole argument that we should have given them prior notice before we come and do our search is neither here nor there, because it doesn't even happen in theory, let alone in practice.
Now, former Energy and Education Minister Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, also known as NAPO, is under investigation by the National Investigation Bureau for projects executed during his ministerial tenure. This has been confirmed by the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Sremsai. Speaking on PM Express on Wednesday, Dr. Sremsai highlighted that such investigations are routine and not uncommon for former officials, citing similar instances like that of former Railway Minister Joe Gatti, who was cleared after providing explanations on the SkyTrain project.
Yeah, I mean, I know about all the cases, from my office. So yes, that's so he's just confirmed what I'm saying. There are a couple of them who.
But what has he been investigated for? he put it out himself. I didn't know. What was he being investigated
A number
for?
of things, but I mean, he was a minister for energy and minister for education for the 8 years. So definitely we have projects that were undertaken during his time, and so he will definitely be answering questions in respect of that. The mathematical sets issues, those ones will fall under his ministry. But he is speaking from a position of office holder, and he has to speak to them unless you will not be prosecuted unless there is evidence that you were complicit in some of the things.
Dr. Sremsai also revealed that some former government officials have been providing critical information about their former colleagues who are alleged to have misappropriated public funds to the Operation Recover All Loot initiative.
Cases. So the oral report had, I think, 33 cases. I can tell you on authority that right now we are running over 50 cases.
Way beyond what the committee saw.
Yeah, because every day people are bringing new, there's whistleblowing going on. People are bringing new evidence, complaints, and I can tell you Ghanaians are really, you were right when you said that the oral is the ultimate determinant of what happened in 2020, because Ghanaians are really determined to get accountability. And every day, someone walks into the Attorney General office. Some come with lawyers, others come alone, and they have documents making complaints every day. So the number is actually increasing. Now,
Against former government officials?
yeah, against former government officials. Then,
Are some of them known elements within the former government themselves, or associates and affiliates of the MPP, or these are neutrals?
well, some of them are neutrals, but most of them are government officials. And
So a part of the previous
yeah,
government.
previous government.
And they themselves are coming forward with information against the government they were part of.
No, you mean the complainants?
Those come forward, yeah.
Oh no. So far, I have not. I would have to speak with my boss, but I have not personally. No one who is a minister of the previous. Government.
Or even a low-level aligned government official.
Oh yeah, in terms of low-level government officials, yeah.
They were in the government.
Yeah,
generally.
appointees. Yeah.
Appointees.
Some of them have come out.
Come forward.
Yeah, come forward.
Former appointees,
yeah,
not
former,
the ministers, but generally on the scale of appointees
yeah.
are coming forward with information against their own former government.
Yeah, exactly. They are coming out with information against their own former colleagues. Some are high up.
Evans Mensah in an interview with Deputy Attorney General. Our Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah has defended a decision to release some high-ranking officers from the Ghana Armed Forces following the appointment of a Brigadier General as Acting Chief of Defense Staff. He described the move as a strategic measure to enhance service efficiency, align with precedent, and uphold the nation's security objectives. He's been speaking on the Super Morning Show.
If you take 15, 8 of them major generals, that is 2-star generals, had reached the point to commence their terminal leave, pending compulsory retirement. And in fact, without mentioning names, and I wouldn't want to mention names, even though the age is 63, one had gotten to 64. So the Ghana Armed Forces is said that at 63, then, or few months before that, you should take your terminal leave pending the compulsory retirement. And for them, for every 4 years that you serve, you have 1 month of terminal leave. So if you have a general who served, let's say, for 40 years, he has 1 month times 10, and that gives 10 months. It is at the end of that period that the general is released honorably. So of these 15, 8 have gotten to that stage. And I have the list before me: 64 years, 63 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 years. If you subtract 8 from 15, you arrive at a difference of 7. Let's account for the 7. And this is what I mean by the pollution. Out of the 7, 3 of them are presently not on terminal leave. One is serving as Deputy Force Commander, United Nations Mission in South Sudan. Another, a female Major General. We are so proud of her. President Mahama even commended her during the graduation ceremony of the cadets. She is also serving as Force Commander, the United Nations Disengagement Observer Force, UNDOF. And the third, Air Vice Marshal Felix Asante. He has been appointed by President Mahama's government as the acting president of the National Defense University. So, if you take the 15 and subtract the 8 that has reached the mandatory age, you have 7. If you subtract these 3 major generals and equivalent, you have 4. What it means is that instead of Reverend Intim Fojo being truthful to Ghanaians, he decided to say that all 15 major generals, their appointment has been terminated. That cannot be the truth.
Well, Member of Parliament for Asin South and ranking on Parliament's Defence Committee who raised the question on the floor of the House, Reverend John Intim Fojo, still disagrees with this explanation given by Mr. Omani Boama. He spoke on the Joy FM Super Morning Show too.
If you have taken a decision of jumping an intake 26, intake 27, intake 28, and intake 29 to appoint an intake 30 as the Chief of Defence Staff, you have jumped several intakes. The question we put, how many of these intakes from 26, because the previous Chief of Defence Staff, the former, is intake 26. So once you appoint an intake 30, it means that from intake 26 all the way to 29, all of them will have to be terminated, whether or not they have reached their compulsory retirement age, and by age and rank. So we asked a simple question. He did not answer. He rather chose to go back and be citing precedents. All the precedents, particularly 2017. 2017, he cited 2 people that were discharged, Major General Adeti and one other person. It is on record that in 2017, the President Akufo-Addo, only discharged Major General Adeti and Vice Marshal Samson Oji, who was the Chief of Defence Staff, and appointed the incumbent Army Commander, Major General Akwa, that President Mahama appointed as Chief of Army Staff, promoted him to become the Chief of Defence Staff. He didn't sack all of them. He promoted him to become, it was only Major General Adeti, who at the time was the Chief of Staff, that was discharged, and then Chief of and the Chief of Defence Staff, the incumbent, the 2 of them. Now, if you come into the Ghana Armed Forces today, there are people who are as young as 59 years old who have had to go home. So the response of people, or all of them, or 8 of them, having attained the compulsory age and that nobody is going home before their retirement age is all false. See, the question we asked, the simple response that the Minister for Defense, in all good faith, could have given, I simply asked for rationale. Rationale could have been service efficiency, could have been continuity, could have been boost of morale, and even hidden under the convenience that for matters of confidentiality, no further details at this point may be appropriate. But he chose to even publish current and former generals' ages, published it with or without their consent. I don't know if he had their consent. Nobody in the question. Nobody asked for the ages of generals. But he published all that and he has further released it and it's all over the place. So, you see, in the attempt for ministers to be overly political, some of these excesses can be avoided. What we are asking is, you could, even among the 15 that he's disputing, what is the basis for he claiming that my question was wrong? The 15 major generals and above, an equivalent and above, is correct. And we can mention all their names and they will tally. But what really makes it more is the fact that among the intake 30, there are 12 brigadier generals who are more senior to the currently appointed Chief of Defense Staff.
Well, away from that, the West African Examinations Council has heightened security measures at examination centers across the country after 9 individuals, including students, invigilators, and teachers, were arrested for engaging in various forms of examination malpractices. WAEC says it is taking a no-tolerance stance on cheating, with a strong warning that stiffer sanctions are being rolled out, including the immediate dismissal of any teacher found complicit. The Council believes this will safeguard the credibility of the examinations and ensure a level playing field for all candidates. Director of Public Affairs John Kapi spoke earlier on the AM show.
Yes, so we had so far, the reported cases are about 10. We had one supervisor who had a mobile phone. He had taken snapshots of the questions and posted on social media. There were 6 other invigilators who also had in their possession mobile phones, and on the mobile phones were pictures of the questions. There was also one lady who described herself as a fashion designer. She had in her possession photocopied responses that she was going to distribute to the candidates. And then one student nurse and one administrator of a private school. All of these people were trying to solve the questions and then send same to the candidates in the examination hall. Our monitors were swift enough to pick them up. We are still gathering reports from some of the other centers that we could not get yesterday.
And how is WAEC swiftly responding to these breaches? What are you doing to these 9 culprits now?
Well, for now, these 9 have been handed over to the law enforcement agencies. Their actions are considered criminal per the WAEC law. So they've been handed over to the police, and the police will work out and get them to court. Yesterday, I was in a conversation with the NIB boss in the Ahafo region, and I mentioned to him some of the hotspots that we had discovered based on the responses that were coming from there. And so he gave me the assurance that they were going to deploy some of their staff to those areas to ensure that sanity prevails. Again, the Ghana Education Service has sent out some personnel. They are helping with the monitoring of the examination centers. Our personnel are also out there, and we think that our increased presence will deter people from engaging in these acts. And the Director General has indicated that any teacher who is found culpable could even lose their job.
Meanwhile, WAEC boss Dr. Rosamond Wilson is touring some centers this morning, and our reporter Adobia Sari is with her and joins us for updates. Adobia, which centers have you been, and what can you report?
Mamiesi, we've been to Accra High School, where about 5 schools are writing here. And then we've been to Kanda cluster of schools, to where 11 schools are writing there. Now, at Kanda cluster of schools, there was a 15-year-old boy who was taken up ill. Yesterday, I'm told he was able to write the 2 papers. But today he came in sick. His father brought him, and then he was not feeling well. I'm told he was vomiting, has severe headache, and has a temperature. Now, he was in the military ambulance receiving treatment at the time we got there with the WAEC boss, that's Dr. Rosamond Wilson. She was displeased. She was not happy about the situation, but that's what is going on right now. But the good news is that the boy will be given some sort of clemency when the doctors give him the medical report. Now, clemency generally means some sort of leniency or mercy from an authority. So in this BECE context, clemency here is the boy being given certain special allowance. It doesn't necessarily mean he'll take the paper again, but they'll just go through some methods. The director explained that they'll go through something called the
Go ahead. So Adobia there trying to explain to us the circumstances in which this young candidate is going through. But she continues her report. Adobia, what more can you report, Adobia? So we understand that the boss, WIC boss, is touring some examination centers to ensure that there's strict compliance with the processes, the rules that guards that examination. But let's go back to Adobia and get the latest from what she's saying. Adobia. Adobia, can you hear me?
Director was unhappy about the state of furniture in the Kanda cluster of schools, not the entire furniture per se, but there's one particular school in a certain classroom that was using a certain furniture that was a bit cupped. It was making the students feel there was some sort of discomfort because they had to bend and then write the paper, and some of the furniture was wobbly, and so it was making the entire thing discomforting for them. But then she has issued a directive that furniture will be brought to them immediately so that they could write on better furniture in the afternoon when they are taking the second paper. We are back here at Accra High because there's a certain engagement she had to have with the supervisors here at the Accra High School. So basically that is what has gone on today. We are yet to go to other examination centers later today after her engagement with the supervisors at Accra High School. The sick boy, I'm told, will be taken to the 37 military hospital for further treatment. Mamiesi.
Yeah, I mean, we understand that WIAC has beefed up security in these examination centers. Where you are currently, did you see anything of the sort? I mean, more security officers ensuring that the candidates adhere to the rules of the exams?
I saw military men at Kanda cluster of schools. At Accra High, though, the invigilators here, everything is quite smooth. And at Accra High, because it's just 5 small schools, there are just 2 policemen here, one of which is sitting right at the entrance of one of the centers, and the other one is at the other entrance behind me. But at Kanda, since 11 schools are right in there, we have saw about 5 military men there, yeah. But they did mention that yesterday everything was smooth. There was no examination or practice there. Nobody forced. There was nothing. There was no sort of hooligan. There was nothing terrible happening there yesterday and today. I'm sure because they are there, they are causing the students to be in line. Everybody is just complying and maintaining composure around here. So far, yeah, security is good. I've seen military men, I've seen policemen, and then according to the reports they've given us, everything has been smooth so far.
Thank you so much, Adobia Sari, giving us updates from the WIAC boss's tour of some examination centers. But right now we head to the northern region where Martina Bugri also joins us on the line. Martina, what can you report?
For the northern region, I am at the Kapohene Center where 866 schools are writing in this center. The Northern Regional Minister was here a while ago with the Regional Director of Education. They toured the facility, interacted with the invigilators, and then a brief talk to the students before they left. The Regional Director of Education says that schools they have visited, they had people who wrote yesterday, but who did not come yesterday but are writing today. So I asked what happens to the paper they didn't write and how it will impact on their results and their further admission to senior high school. He says that they have an opportunity to do a self-placement if they perform very well in the other subjects, which means that they will not get an automatic placement, but they can do a self-placement. The minister expressed his excitement about the ongoing exam and hoped that malpractice will not be recorded. But just when they left, a student was found with foreign material in one of the halls. That student has been made to write his statement, and then he's taken back to the exams hall to continue the examination.
All right, Martina, thank you so much for that update. It looks like from the central region. Abigail, what can you also report from there?
All right, so far, the examination is happening smoothly over here. And we went around with the Cape Coast Mayor, George Justice Arthur, who shared some advice with the students, advising them to desist from examination malpractices. He also commended the GES, WAEC, and then security services for the smooth operations of the exam process. So far, no incidences have been recorded. It was just yesterday that in one of the centers, Wesley Girls, a student felt sick at the beginning of the paper, but he was quickly taken care of so he can continue. But so far, there have been no recorded incidences today. Examination is happening smoothly, and we hope at the end of the day, just like yesterday, there will be no recorded challenges or incidences.
Abigail, how about the security situation? I mean, we just spoke to Martina, and then also there's some reported examination malpractices reported yesterday, about 9 persons arrested. Has there been any such offense in the central region?
No, so far, with all the centers that we've been to, there have been no reported incidences of malpractices. Security is tight. You can find the policemen and women hanging around, and you find some of them at the entrance. So before you even enter to even interact or take even videos of the center, you need to speak to the security agency at the entrance to seek their permission before you are allowed to enter. Security is very tight. We've not had any reports of malpractices. Everything is happening okay here.
All right. Thank you so much, Abigail Esel in the central region. We move now to the Volta region and speak to Ivy Setoji to give us the very latest. Ivy, where have you been? What's been the situation there? Unmute and speak to us, Ivy.
Okay, so I've been to a couple of centers. Currently, I am at the Philip Akpo Memorial Catholic School, where 5 prisoners are writing currently, all male. I spoke with the PR, that's the Public Relations Officer, CSP Aposiga, and I also spoke with one of the female officers, Anyakpo, who told me they prepared the prisoners very well to write. Unfortunately, they presented 6, but one took ill, so he is not able to write. So currently, 5 of them are in the writing, and security is very tight. In most of the centers I visited, security is very, very tight. So we are waiting for them to come out so we can speak with the prisoners on how they are going about the examination, how they are coping and all that. I saw some of them earlier before they entered, and they looked so confident, but we're not allowed to enter because of security issues. So yes, things are going on well. We've not had any issue of examination malpractice so far in the region. Some students were reported sick, a few of them pregnant, but those pregnant are still writing, and those who were reported sick are okay, better now and writing. So for now, everything is smooth. Mami.
Well, Ivy, do we know the ages of these inmates writing the exam?
There's people are more in their 30s. Yes, most of them are in their 30s and 20s writing.
All right. Thank you so much, Ivy, for that update. And those are the latest coming from the various regions on the BECE. We definitely will keep an eye on that one and bring you the very latest on them. Now, for years, they have lived in a cycle of fear and uncertainty, sleeping awakened to the sound of crashing waves, not knowing if the sea will claim more of their land. In Ketu South, Keta and Anglon districts, communities have long battled the encroaching tides, a fight made harder by the unforgiving hand of climate change. As part of Joy News' German Embassy Climate Talks, our next stop is Keta, the heart of Ghana's coastal struggle and resilience. Mmefa Atiamwa Eli has been speaking to residents and local leaders as we focus on promoting indigenous knowledge on coastal resilience. There's more in this report.
Twice a year, they brace for impacts, enduring weeks of flooding that uproot homes, destroy livelihoods, and deepen despair. Today, hundreds remain displaced, climate refugees in their own homeland. But in the face of adversity, how are these coastal communities adapting? How resilient are they? And what traditional knowledge are they drawing on to protect their future?
What structure are we going to use to protect ourselves from the sea? The best thing is the brick. You see, it's the only brick can protect it. Nothing again. There's nothing. Are you going to use branches, coconut branches, to protect yourself along the seabed? No. The best thing is the brick. But here is the case. The sea doesn't want even to see the brick at all. It breaks all every time into pieces.
This problem started all the way back in 2021. So up to now, you can see the number of people who are rendered homeless. Yet, whatever they are calling for, that the sea defense project should continue, doesn't continue. So I will talk about thousands of people who are rendered homeless without any help. When you talk about relocation, we would not relocate anybody in Agawaji community, well as the Salakope and then Amocheno. So people, whatever we are doing is that to talk to them, to sleep with their neighbors. And that alone will not solve the problem.
Meet Togbe Emmanuel Anum Tete, Chief Fisherman of Salakope, a coastal community in the Ketu South District. His surroundings paint a haunting picture of the devastation caused by sea erosion and tidal waves. The structure behind him once served as home to his extended family of 30. Today, 99% of that home has been swallowed by the sea, reduced to memories now buried beneath the waves.
In my household here, we are about plus or minus 30. Our survival, since this started, I mentioned it already, we survive by the help of people outside and our children outside. We are being helped. Nobody know nothing because we can't fish anymore. We are fisher folks. That's the main occupation here. There are a lot of debris. That's the building, broken building in the sea. You can't use the net again. Today, very fortunately, as we are coming, in the morning, come here, come and see fish. Very close here. This morning, to call for an action is the president to intervene. They have to come quickly as soon as possible and dredge the sea for us to be stable. The sea will be stable. As soon as they dredge it, it will be stable. It won't come anywhere again, forever and ever, until we die.
Well aware of the growing impact of climate change, we ask, have they considered any strategies to make their homes more resilient? After all, this home and resettlement, at least for now, is not an option they are willing to consider. Togbe shares his thoughts.
Nature is something you can't fight. What can we do to prevent the intervention of nature? Nature, whatsoever he plans to do, that's what it does. We couldn't have any plan. You see, our plan we normally talk about is we need to go across the lagoon. We are between the lagoon and the sea. We needed to be allocated at the other side of the lagoon, the other bank. But my sister and brothers, I'm telling you, that place is very worse because it's also water loss. You can't build there. You'll be swimming like a fish before you enter your room. It's better we stay here and the sea come and take us away.
Madam Kudowu's story echoes Togbe's loss. A mother who has lost everything to the sea. She relives the trauma every time the tides rise. For her, it's become a grim routine, a cycle that repeats with little mercy.
The waves just came, swept us off our foot all of a sudden. Houses numbering 10 were washed away just like that. We had to relocate to the other side of town, across the road, but that didn't help much. The road was equally washed away. We were promised it will be fixed, but we're still waiting. It's been very severe. Our kitchen and stoves have been flooded. Where to sleep is a problem. Whenever it is raining, we have to be awake, sweeping and mopping until it subsides.
Her new shelter, the recently built premix fuel station in Salekope. Her original home now stands as a broken wall with a door that leads to nothing. She doesn't know how long she'll be able to stay in this makeshift refuge.
I don't know what else to do. I constructed this palm front structure with the hope of shifting them, but that one too has equally been taken over by the sea. A couple of days ago, all our fried fishes were floating on top of the flood. It's been very traumatic.
Climate change has become an undeniable part of reality. Yet, conversations around adaptation and resilience remain far from the average person's daily considerations. But at what cost do we ignore it? And how do we ensure that communities start to rethink how to live with and not against nature? On June 13, 2025, Joy News, in partnership with the German Embassy, will be in Quetta, engaging residents in a conversation dubbed Promoting Indigenous Knowledge and Coastal Resilience. Because the time to act is now. Amafa, Ewenam Atiamwa Eli, for Joy News. Quetta.
And so you don't want to miss those talks tomorrow coming up live on the Joy News channel. Do make a date. Now, the Ministry of Health and Parliament's Health Committee are meeting the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association in a bid to find a solution to the current impasse. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association have been on full-time strike since Monday, protesting government's refusal to enforce a collective bargaining agreement. Now, let's engage James Aveji, who is in Parliament, to give us updates on that particular meeting. James, what can you report?
Well, Mami, I can report that that meeting has begun between the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, Midwives Association, and the Parliament Health Committee here in Parliament. The initial arrangement for invitation is that this will be covered by the media. But the information we got getting to the venue is that this is going to happen behind closed doors, and then the media will be briefed on what has happened or transpired in the meeting. So far, what we are learning, the meeting is expected to help the health committee understand exactly what the demand of the nurses are, whether there is any level of compromise or for the two sides, the nurses as well as the government, to meet each other halfway. From there, the committee should be designing a framework as to how the matter should be resolved. And so that's what is expected. The committee is expected to do at the end of that. Whatever they hear from the nurses, they will be raising at conclave before Parliament sits at 2 p.m. And so we expect that. You remember that on Tuesday, there was an attempt by the ranking on the committee to make an urgent statement on the floor, which led to the chaos we experienced in the evening of Tuesday. And so the order paper is not out yet. We'll be looking out to see if there will be a statement on that of the floor Parliament and what solutions Parliament will be proposing to both government and the Nurses Association. If it does not appear in the order paper after that conclave meeting on what the nurses have been telling the Parliament Health Committee, then maybe we should expect another urgent statement on it. But what we can report now is that the meeting is currently ongoing, and we'll be looking forward to what the outcome would be by afternoon or even 2 o'clock when Parliament sits officially.
Right. Thank you so much, James, for that update. And you're still watching Join His Desk with me, Mami Senior Mitchell Thompson. We take a break, we return with business.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The collateral registry at the Bank of Ghana has revealed that it registered over 330 collateral interests in 2024, bringing the total registration to 1.4 million since its inception in 2010. The registry aims to expand its operations by targeting rural economies. Here's more from the launch of the 15th anniversary of the collateral registry at the Bank of Ghana.
Collateral Registry is a body established pursuant to Section 18 of the Borrowers and Lenders Act 2020 to principally register security interest and collateral to secure credit facilities. In 2024 alone, the registry registered over 332,000 collateral interest compared to about 10,000 captured in its first year of operations in 2010. Speaking at the launch of the 15th anniversary of the Collateral Registry at the Bank of Ghana, Fred Kranting Esiama, Registrar of the department, noted that the registry will expand into underserved communities.
In 2010, we registered 10,413 security interest registrations. This figure rose to 332,000 registrations just for last year. Overall, as at the end of 2024, the registry had registered over 1.4 million security interests with an average growth rate of 31.5%. Indeed, the registry registers approximately 9,000 security interests every week. This is not just a statistic. It is a story of empowerment, of economic opportunity, and of a better future. The registry, having grown from an emerging outfit to a cornerstone of Ghana's credit infrastructure, has significantly contributed to the creation of an enabling environment for countless micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises to access credit that was once beyond their reach.
Delivering the keynote address on behalf of the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, the first Deputy Governor hinted at the use of technology and regulatory reforms to enhance credit management.
Our vision for the registry is ambitious. We are investing in advanced technologies, including artificial intelligence, to enhance the system's efficiency, security, and user experience. We are also undertaking policy and regulatory reforms to ensure the legal framework remains agile and responsive to the evolving credit landscape.
With an average growth rate of 31.5% in securities registration, the registry continues to register approximately 9,000 security interests every week, with a quest to expand its operations to rural economies.
Now, Societe Generale Bank reported a 30% increase in profit in 2024 compared to the previous year. According to Managing Director Hakim Uzani, the strong performance is attributed to the bank's resilient business model, which prioritizes support for SMEs and strategic funding for large-scale projects that drive economic growth. He spoke to Joy Business at the bank's 45th Annual General Meeting in Accra.
We have made a very good year, 2024. As I said, we have made the progress on the asset side, on the NBI side, net banking income side, and we have also increased our profit by 30%. This demonstrates once again the sustainability of the business model that we have. We are engaged to finance the economy with a loan-to-deposit ratio of more than 90% for this 2024 year. Meaning that 90% of the deposits are going directly to finance individuals, to finance SMEs, to finance corporates, to finance public projects, private projects, through our solutions, financing solutions. So we are very proud of this achievement for this year. And we are continuing to develop strategically our support to the SMEs. Particularly, we want to be more present in the SME side. We have our home of business, where we provide a certain advice to entrepreneurs, etc. We have also developed and we have launched during the 2024 years the SG Women product, which is dedicated for women entrepreneurs particularly, and it's under our business strategy and under also our corporate social responsibility strategy.
All right, SG Bank, some strong showing there in 2024. And guess who is showing up strongly here?
Daryl. Well, on that note, we
Yeah.
bring this edition of Joy News to an end. Thank you for staying with us. We'll be back tomorrow.